Oh, microphone. Good morning or good afternoon.
Morning.
Good morning.
We can hear you.
Howdy.
Oh. All right, so we had some information this morning. I figured I'd leave this up right now. I was actually looking at the market, watching gold at this point. And so at 8:22, we had a massive drop. No, massive. Yeah, it was pretty big drop in everything and a spike in oil because Trump was basically saying that they're going to be hitting Iran tonight. That was at 8:22. And then at 8, well, he said this, the United States basically are going to be hitting Iran very hard tonight and taking Carg Island and other oil infrastructure points, same as what they did with Venezuela, which is working brilliantly for Venezuela and the U.S. However, a few minutes later, 8:44, we are talking to them. Iran is negotiating with us to make a deal. So good luck trying to trade this. I personally will be waiting the first half hour as usual. It is 9:30 right now and the markets are about to open. The numbers came in this morning. We had the initial job claims, which came in a little bit hotter than expected. PPI came in pretty close to previous, depending on which one you're looking at, the year over year or the month over month, but they were not massively out of whack as per predictions. And at this point, the 5 things to know, this is obviously old news now because stock futures were pointing higher after the sell-off, but that was before this happened, right? This is MNQ. That's a drop in MNQ, drop in MES. Gold remained pretty strong. It did drop a bit, and then crude spiked up. It is 9:30, and I don't see massive movements right now. I would expect things to be mellow at the open, because we don't know which direction we're going in. Markets gapped up in the Qs and SPY this morning. Again, I would not be surprised to see the gap fill. Right? There are orders left down here. By the way, this is what I said about gold yesterday. I don't know if you remember, but I did not find an entry for the short. Actually, I'll go with the bigger chart, but gold did make its way down to the level that we had marked out at 4,100. So let's go over here. Let's take this off. So this was what happened. Let's put on the 5-minute chart, which is what I like to watch. I didn't get an entry on this. And then once we really started moving down, I didn't get the pullback into the range to be able to take this short down to the level that we had put in there at 4,100. And the only reason that level was there was because we had mapped out this dip right here. So that was an obvious level of liquidity. We actually closed lower than this yesterday. And then at 1800 or 6 p.m. Eastern, we started making new highs and pulling back. But in this area right here, I'm not trusting anything. I want to see if we actually find support down here before moving up. This, it could just be a retracement, another retracement, lower high, and we could be moving down lower. Oh, I don't know what your analysis is, you gold traders out there. If you have anything to add, please don't hesitate. As far as analysis is concerned, I'm just waiting this morning. This I did not take. However, I should have, because this is my news move. But that would have been a substantial trade right there. But didn't take it. I don't trust it enough yet. Kind of heard somebody talking about M2K. I was looking at this last night. We had an impulse move up right over here. Then we pulled back into the 50. I did not take this one either, as it was overnight. But that's where it is right there. I mapped it out. I was at my computer. I mapped it out right over here and hesitated and shouldn't have because it got to the level pretty quickly. And if I just left it on with a good stop, how high did we make it? Right up there, 25 R. And that's the best kind to put on. Then again, I mean, I wouldn't have put it that high because who knows where the market's going to go. But into this area of liquidity over here, possibly, right? And that would have been an 8R. Or, like I usually do, just leave it at 3. Just leave it at 3 or the top of the range. Again, another trade that worked out, but took off without me. This is interesting here. We are reversing. It is at an area where there was room to the left. Let's put the fibs from the start of the move. Start of the move could be at the top here, but let's just go on a 5-minute time frame from the start of that candle to the lows. We popped into the golden zone and we're chopping around in here, which I don't like seeing. I like seeing this range being rejected. However, if you go to a 15-minute time frame and you do start at the highs, we are right in the zone. So depending what time frame you're trading, this could just be a retracement for the reload short down towards the liquidity areas that we've got mapped out here. So there you go. Questions, comments, please don't hesitate. INTC. It's funny, we didn't talk about INTC for years. And just lately, it's just everything. It's absolutely a big mover. But I like this moving up, breaking up, pushing up, and then we're accepting price. We're accepting range, moving up, pulling back a bit, but pulling back just to the high of this range before the next move up. Right? How long can it do this, especially when the rest of the market is selling? I don't know. I do not trade it, but it's interesting. Let's look at. Let's get rid of some of these drawings here. It's hard to. There you go. I was going to look at NVIDIA. So pre-market, we gapped up considerably. Lower range, we are opening up below R4. If this breaks down below R3 and then retests R3, I wouldn't be surprised that we close this gap. Will, I'm not quite sure I understand your question as far as H3, 4, H6. Mine are still S3, R3. Listen. Yeah, R3, S3. Camera level show H3 and L3. Yeah, that's weird. You can look at make sure that it's a CPP camera pivot plays light. That's the one that I've got. There might have been a change to the algo. I don't know. In case you're curious, this is my news move. Very risky. Big drop, right? Big 1 minute drop. Second minute, bottom of the drop, pulling back into the 50, and then get back down to the middle of the range. So if anybody wants to study that and back test it, that was a 4-hour trade. I did not take it. I'm still studying it. I'm still mapping it out and back testing it. However, with the back testing that I'm doing, depending on the entry and the stop, it is an incredibly high win rate. I haven't calculated yet, but, and again, it's news, right? News drops are, they're definitely very risky. Yeah, that's weird, eh? I see what you're saying there. L3, L4, L6. Yeah, just a low and a high, I guess. CPPL. I don't know if anybody else is seeing that with this. One of my students is saying that instead of R3 now it's which chart are you showing me there? Can you show me the ticker, and then I'll try to reproduce it on mine. Update available. A new version of this script is ready now with new features. Let's look at it. Yeah, now it is saying H3 and H4. That's odd. Why would you change that? It's been support and resistance for ever. Oh well. All right. Thanks for letting me know that my script had to be updated. Can you not update on all charts? There you go. So you've got INTC that is above H6, which is R6. Very strong. This is a really nice breakout, retest, further move, retest back to this level. Right, just swept underneath, and then I'm still on the 5 minute here, but we've got a bullish 5 minute entry for the next move. Right, so this is classic breakout and retest. The only thing about this is that there's not much of a level over here. Right, at least over here, at least with this breakout, with you do have the high of the session, and you're breaking out of yesterday's high as well. Right, so this breakout here and retest is a little bit cleaner. If we were to put the levels on here, we came down and went way past the 50 zone. But on a classic break and retest, on the break of this level over here, of this level right here, right? This is a bullish candle. Once we make a new high over here with the stop below, right here. Actually, let me zoom in. There we go. Right, so we've got the breakout. We're consolidating, come down, find new buyers. Bullish candle, a little bit of a wick at the top. But entry could be at the break of the previous candle high, right around there, but on this candle, and stop below the previous candle or stop below the wick for a more conservative stop. Let's put it at the conservative here and then aim for 3. And 3 is right in that level of liquidity, so that would have been a good trade. Again, if you're gutsy enough to trade pre-market going into the open.
Not me, but I'm watching it. Let's see if it pulls back. It just broke out yet again. We had a hammer forming on the 5-minute, and it's pushing north. So
Yeah.
I'm just going to draw a fib on it, and let's see if it comes back down to the golden zone near VWAP for an entry.
Yeah, thanks for popping in there. I was bringing it up because I know you like trading Intel, and I was saying, I don't know if you heard me earlier, but since I started trading, I mean, we never trade Intel, right? It's just been doing nothing, and just lately it's like it's revived. So which always surprised me that, everything was moving, in the 2021, 22, and Intel just was stagnant. At least I didn't trade it. I don't know, many others might have. But yeah, it's definitely a mover. It's strong right now, especially today, right? Gapped up, pull back, gap up. Let's take this out of here. And from the open, let's see where we are. So from the open, we gapped up again. I look at where did we break out of previous resistance? Well, this 5-minute candle right here. So that's where I start the fibs. And then don't know where to stop it right now. But just for the moment, it's here. I wouldn't be surprised for it to come back down. And then I'd want to see confirmation that buyers are stepping back in if it gives you an entry over here.
Yeah, patience. But I too remember trading this back in the day when it was in the $20, $30 range. I didn't trade it that much. It acted completely different. So definitely stocks can take on a life of their own once more interest gets into a stock, for sure. Because it didn't move anything like this before. I remember that.
Yeah. See, let's look at 2020, 2021, right? From $20 range over here. But now you look at it. Right, let's get rid of that drawing. Since it broke out of this higher time frame, like it's all-time highs over here. All-time highs were 69.93. I don't know. I don't think there was a split on this. Yeah, so once it broke out of this range and actually broke out of this range over here, that was a former high of December 2023, broke out of there, retested, and then once it broke out of this range, made it to the tops, it played around resistance a little bit, and then whatever the heck happened here, was it earnings? Not much of a surprise. Or was it 1,400 and the report and the estimate? Yeah, I guess it was $1 billion more than 1.16 billion more, so 10% surprise. And it popped above resistance. What was prior resistance and what was prior resistance over here, and then it just kept on going. Get rid of these drawings. There we go.
Getting some bigger candles on the SPY and use. A buying pressure right now.
Here we go.
SOXL as well.
Yeah, semiconductors again.
Yeah, watching those, INTC, AMD. I'm watching SMCI as well, very, very closely right now, in addition to Oracle.
Oracle, I believe, was Oracle in the news. What do we have with Oracle? Stock sinks as investors worry about fundraising plans despite a better than expected earnings report. Service Oracle reported 19.18 billion in revenue and adjusted earnings per share of 211. Said it raised 43 billion in debt and 5 billion through stock sales. Oracle shares were down 9%. Well, that might be ORCL. ORCL might have been a bit of a discount for it to come down here. Did we find the bottom? It definitely went below the most recent low. And then here are the earnings. Not much of a surprise. But it might be at a discount. So I don't know. It might be I don't trade this anymore. But it doesn't seem to give me an entry to go long. It's just chopping in this range here. Had it gone down and because we've got a couple equal lows here, had it come back down and swept for the further move up, I'm going to put an alert here. If it came down below here, just to watch it.
Has anybody else's brokers been emailing them about this SpaceX IPO?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I've never had an email from them regarding any IPOs. And I've had this time my pension fund, my brokerage with Interactive Brokers, Webull, Hargreaves, Lansdowne, all these accounts I have, everybody's emailing me. Like they're definitely, they're trying to cash in on the hype, aren't they?
Yep.
Big push for that. I'll be honest. I actually put in an order for the IPO, and I subsequently canceled it. I don't want to be exit liquidity.
New functionality notification, IPO access. Interactive Brokers, new functionality notification, IPO access. And then somewhere in the email it says, including those whose deadline for application is closing soon. So we know which one they're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't recall many IPOs that actually put shares aside for retail. I mean, is it a trap? I mean, I don't know. It's going to be priced so incredibly high right out of the gate. Personally, I'm not getting involved until, like I've said it before, I want to see some earnings. So it'll be 3 months to 6 months before I even start looking at it. Trading it would be different, but for investing in it, I need to see results.
Yeah, I think if you're investing, you want to wait for the lockup expiry because they'll just be selling into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In terms of IPOs, generally speaking, most of them are available for retail traders, but you have to know about it and request it in advance. It's not most companies, they don't sort of tend to advertise too much.
I just got an alert that I just put up. I don't know if that's on news. Let's go over here. UAE and Iran are said to have met face-to-face to ease tensions. Senior national security stability is important. Okay, so that might be positive news. We can assume that it has something to do with the spike here, and the MCL is probably dropping. Right, a little bit of a drop. However, it doesn't seem to have dropped much on that news. Just when you were talking about pension plans, this was in the news last week, and this is me. Very, very microscopic portion of me, but that is our pension plan. And the Ontario Teachers Pension Plan is one of the largest pension plans in the world. And they invested in IPO. Sorry, they invested in SpaceX very early. And just tomorrow, they're saying that they could be eyeballing an $11.6 billion windfall just from a bet that they made on 300 million in SpaceX.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't remember when they got into it, but that's what they do. They're an incredibly profitable organization. I wish that they had opened it up when I started teaching. I wish that they had opened up their algorithms and their fund for people wanting to add to their pension. But it's a closed pension, and you know what I mean? Like, I would have liked to have been able to, instead of doing my own investing, just add to what the Ontario Teachers Pension Plan was doing. But anyway, they're going to be doing really well this week, and myself as a recipient of the OTPP will see none of that. So that's just the way it works.
Yeah.
It'll just go to fund the fund, which is great because the fund is completely funded now, I think, for another like 20 years. If they were to stop, this is not financial advice and it's not precise, but they are funded for a very long time, which is a good thing. So MNQ, big spike. Are we going to find some buyers up here? This is really interesting. I want to see. First half hour is about to close. That was an area of interest that we had a few days ago. Right, I left it on there. We are above R4. I refuse to call it H4. I might go in there and change the script to bring it back to R and S. But if we were to come and retest this area, this is quite the impulse move here. That was a nice retest right here. So that was the impulse move. We can tell with a big fair value gap there at the beginning of the move, which is there. Bring it to the top, but did not retrace into the 50. But came very close. And then now we've got a very big move up. Therefore, I would take my fib and bring it down to where it did retrace to. Some people might try to bring it down to the actual 50, which would have been right here. But for now, this is the area that I would be looking at. It does line up with this level of resistance here that we just blew past. So I'd be curious to know if we come back into this. Do we come back in here, dip, and then take off for the next high? Similar, but not the same move on MES. Saber long, 28,692. 28,692. Wow, that's a nice position to take a long from. 692. There's the alert on MNQ, so it is pulling back. It's dropping very fast. I don't like that. That is the 1 minute though. Yeah, I don't like this setup. These are really big candles. Personally, I don't like it, but I mean, do we put in a bullish candle?
Honestly, I was trying to go long this pullback on the MNQ, but on the 2 minute chart, like I would take it on the break of 873, 887, and the best stop, the tightest stop I can have, it's at 805. So this is like 100 points. It's very challenging to stay in check, as you mentioned yesterday, Gilles. It's very challenging to keep your like RBR on this one, on things like that.
Yeah, no, thanks for sharing. However, if you look at the move down, well, let's look at last Friday. This is Monday, this is Friday. So look at the move down, right, from this area, 941 to, I'll do this instead. Right, that's a 1,000-point move, 1,100-point move. And then again on Monday. There we go. And on Monday, 1,500-point move. So is it possible that it does a similar move to the upside? Yeah, it's possible. However, like yourself, I don't trust having a very wide stop on this, especially to the upside right now, because we've had trouble making new highs, right? Over the last few days. I don't know why my scroll is not working. I cannot scroll any further than that. But yeah, we are going down, trying to pull up. That was Monday, very, tight range. Then tried to make new highs again and just pulled back from there. Now, if we were to make new highs above here, then I'd start being more interested in taking longs, or longs with a higher range. I mean, I'm still okay taking a long. Just I won't be aiming for 29,800 anytime soon. So let's see here if I sorry, hopefully you're not getting dizzy if you're looking at my screen here. Dip down to my 68 level here. Right, so if you had gotten in on a limit order, it would have stopped out. However, once this liquidity sweep, I'll call it, once that's put in, if you get in at, oops, long over here. If you get in on this candle, again at the 68, or sorry, at the 50 or just above the 50 with your stop below the wick, can you get to 3 before getting up there? No, not quite. Or if you put your stop below the candle, it's a 1 minute, so that's very risky. Right? Stop below this candle. Can you reach the top of the zone? No, yeah, and we're already close to 5R here. So it's definitely showing strength right now. Is oil dropping? No, it's not, but well, that was a big spike, then coming down. Started selling, getting close to the 50 for a possible reload short on oil.
It's funny, Gilles, everything I'm looking at is moving, but there's no setup. So
Yeah,
I'm just watching, man. I mean, I can't get in. Like Oracle has just been, it's like a hockey stick. It's just going straight up. Same with INTC, AMD. Yeah, even I look at Tesla too. And so when it's V shape, I just can't, I gotta just wait.
yeah.
I don't know. The boat may have left the harbor and that's it for the day, but we'll see. Just maybe things will turn around in another 30, 60, 90 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, on Intel, it's got a couple wicks to the top side here, and then it just broke out above it. So there's people buying a premium over here. I'd be curious to see if it pulls back into the fair value gap here. So did I put an alert in here already? Yeah, I'd like to have an alert just to know if it pulls back into this area to possibly give an entry. Qs are just above the high of day. M and Q. Let me take these drawings out. M and Q broke out through, yeah, this was the level right here. So hang on a second, let's redo this. So we broke out of this level right here on this candle structure right here. So that's where I would start the fibs, just on this candle here. Go to the top, move right. Right. This, if you can find an entry in here, that's a really nice pullback on a breakout and retest. Right. I just don't like taking an entry above here, like Tarek was saying earlier, and having a really wide stop. Right. Once it confirmed, you're way up here. Conservative stop is below this wick, and I need to find 3. And like I said, in this market right now, I'm not comfortable aiming for 3R when it's that extended. Right. So that's why I wasn't taking this one seriously.
I agree. When there's a big wick and you have to account for that, and then it just magnifies how far you need to go to get to 2 or 3R.
Yeah.
No, I mean, when I look at the charts and I'll see, like, you know, it pop up and we get a pullback and you get a smaller candle, a tighter range. And I think Avi talked about that too. That's it, man. It's really our job to identify the highest potential reward to the tightest risk. Then all of a sudden you see a big candle. It's like, well, what happened? Well, it's because the risk was pretty tight there and people jumped in.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah. I mean, it's that simple.
And it's funny that we take it for granted. I mean, I do this automatically. I don't even need to draw anything. It just comes from experience. And I didn't used to do it that way. But now it's like it's automatic, right? You look, is there room to the left? Is there potential? Is there resistance over here? Well, I mean, we've gone this far. Target would be 29,250, right? It's the most recent high above here. You know, so theoretically, this is doable, right? But I prefer having a tighter risk, you know, something like this. And I will take my profit at 3, 4, 5R. You know, I'd rather take, you know, 3 3R trades and -1 every time. With slippage, it can be -1, 1.1, 1.2. But most of the time, I'll aim for 3, especially in this market. Over the last couple months, days like, let's go back to the 5. These big days over here, trend days, have been few and far between. But like Avi caught last Friday, they can be incredibly profitable if you're patient for them and you get an entry. So it's 10:07 now. Let's see. I mean, the trend. See, we're hitting resistance on MES. We got 3 very close to equal highs. Are they actually equal? 35.25, 35.25, 35.75. So you can imagine the energy that is being bottled up over here. So either it breaks out of here and takes off, or it breaks out of here and rejects and comes back down and grabs the liquidity up here. So very curious to see. I've had an alert up here since this morning. So there's my alert. I've got a higher time frame alert here that I'll remove. That was from yesterday.
Gilles, you know why that is? When I look at the SPY on the 15-minute chart, there's the SMA 200 parked right there. So it's
SPY.
that's why you're getting those 3 5-minute candles that are just hitting and just getting rejected right around 731.68 is the SMA 200 level in the SPY. So yeah, that's just, I find the moving averages definitely are magnets and potential bounce areas.
Yeah, I was doing a session yesterday explaining the differences between the EMA and the SMA. And I had to put them back on my chart for the first time in a long time. And they're definitely interesting. I mean, part of me's thinking of, adding them back in, or at least having them available easily. So yeah. I just need to resave my my profile on my teaching platform, and maybe I'll start putting them in just to look at them, not necessarily for trade tools, but I always teach that they help with confirmation. MCL, so there's the 50, right? So this is where I zoom in. We took out prior liquidity here. Does it spike up and then reject? I'm going to look at this. And this is where you can tell, did I draw the fibs properly? Right? Once you see, this, it went down from here and went down to hit this level so that this became the 50, right? So until that happened, right, this is where this wick was. And then all of a sudden, you get down to the lows, and this is the 50. Now you move it right, and you see what is happening over here. Look at how it just went into the 6.1, the 61.8. What will it do over here? Will it reject and come back down? So this is how I look at this. And my entry now would only be on the close of a bearish candle and the break of the low of that bearish candle with momentum. Excuse me, I got a phone call. Just a spam call. They're calling to get feedback on my local police service. I don't have time to answer those questions.
You'd be a good constituent in giving your feedback.
Yeah. My neighbor's a police officer, so I give him my feedback.
That's cool. Oracle's finally pulling back here. Again, simple moving average 50 on the 15-minute chart, right around 180, 185. Boom. It hit that wall. Now we're getting a pullback. What's kind of interesting on the pullback so far is that the selling volume is, comparatively speaking to the prior red candles, significantly less. So that's what I like to see.
Yeah.
Yep. I want to see, that's kind of my gauge is like, okay, the most current red candle selling volume compared to, the first and third red candles, way less. So I like that for a long possibility. We're now kind of entering the golden zone right now.
Yeah. I just drew it in here, but that's on a 5-minute time frame. That's a big red candle here. And the overall trend has been down. right? Remember what I said at the beginning too, that I didn't see, like, we have a couple equal bottoms here. I put an alert because I want to see, does it give me a reason to go long? Right now, if it were to close above the 61.8 here and then give a 2-minute bullish candle for a continuation, possibly. But now it's putting in a fair value gap on the way down. I don't see it as strong.
Big candles don't freak me out anymore unless they're accompanied with a lot of selling volume.
Yeah.
Because that's just meant to scare people, and you're gonna get right. You're gonna freak out, get stopped.
All it works.
But if it's a big candle like it is right now, and we have increasing selling volume, yeah, and it's pulling back to the 78% level on the fib. So that tells me, yeah, it looks like we have rising volume selling pressure. That tells me this ain't a long candidate right now. And the markets are also selling off too. But when I see a big candle, selling candle like that, but the volume is not in proportion, I love that. That's an anomaly. That just tells me the picture is not exactly what it seems. They're just trying to trick you. So you'll sell and they can gobble up their shares before they take it out.
Yeah, absolutely. But now that we are coming down with increasing volume, just curious to see what the CVD is saying as well. Right? Yeah, CVD is also moving down. So there's selling happening here.
No bueno for a loan.
Yeah, no bueno yet. I mean, if it takes out liquidity over here and then shows that buyers are stepping in, then maybe.
Because I'll still watch it. The fact is, if you look at the Oracle volume, again, comparatively speaking to the first and third 5-minute candles, I mean, it's significantly less. So the trade for me may set up. I just need to give it a little bit more time, and I need to see maybe a few candles down the road when we get pullback candles that the volume is trending down. But right now, there was a spike in volume, so that's why it's just good to watch and study.
Yeah. I'm still looking at oil over here. If we stay below 90, I might be interested in the short. I don't like that we got into the zone, but it's a very, very tight zone right now. Uh, 89.99 alert INTC. There's the pullback on INTC. Possible pullback. What I would be looking at, and I'm not trading this. I'd want to see it wick down and then to see an actual wick form and then a bullish candle, right? Especially on a smaller time frame. So maybe it comes and gets liquidity at 115. If not, it just might be pulling back. Especially that the SPY is selling. The Qs are selling. And oil is approaching the 61.8 again.
Yeah, INTC is in the golden zone right now.
I think this is where we started buying. Right over here to the top. And it's pulling into this area. Now I'd want to see bullish candles. I don't want to see a bullish candle print and then break the high of that bullish candle on the 1 or 2 minute. Yeah, the golden zone is not holding up over here on MCL. Yeah, we're still within those two 30-minute candles, right? On almost everything. Approaching the lows on the Qs. Or MNQ, I should say. There we go. Yeah, when I see this, and it'll probably be one of those days that we start dumping, and this was not an entry, right? I can't find an entry on this. Right? Even if you get to the 1 minute, I mean, first 1 minute fair value gap, maybe. But even here, there's not a really bearish candle. They all have wicks at the bottom. Right? Even this one. This is the first truly bearish candle. Right? Going short there with the stop there. But that, again, that's a massive stop. Right? And a massive stop range. But there you go. And there's the 3. So that was the first 1 minute really bearish candle. And we did break the low. So on the break of that low, on the next candle here, with the stop above the area of interest, and as well as the previous candle, right? You'd have to get down lower than low of day. So it's too much. Okay, thanks, Will, if you're still there. Future setup, go back to MNQ and load it.
What a mess.
MNQ, yeah. MNQ key levels. So this is the one that I was talking to one of my mentees yesterday. We were talking about moving averages. And, so this is the EMA 9. I know a lot of people had this on their charts. I just took it off a couple years ago. But seeing that short that I was just describing here, that was the first bearish candle. Taking a short below the 9 EMA, it's usually not a bad idea. Right? And just to watch how the market reacts to these levels, right? And then taking a long above when you see that it is holding above the 9 EMA. Over here, it's holding above. Over here, no bueno, but above here, right? We're staying above it, and then. Right, we have a close below it. This is the first candle to close. So is that the entry possibility that I was looking at? I'm so used to having the 5 minute, but you know, when you go to a 2 or the 1, we have a close underneath the 9. Enter short, stop above high a day.
Wow.
Aim for 3. Don't know. Who was saying wow, and what are you saying wow to?
I'm just looking at the MTK.
M2K. Go back to the 5. M2K was selling over here. That's why I had this. Came into the golden zone. Short would not have worked. But from the open, we're just chopping. Right. This last 5-minute candle seems to be buying.
It's a really big range. If you look at the 30-minute candles.
Yeah. And we're about to close this candle, and we're just still within that IB range. Hard to trade within this range. Oil is impossible. Sorry, what?
Traced from where we closed, the opening 30 minutes was around 28.80, and we went all the way back to the open, and now we've bought all the way back up to 28.80 again. So it's quite a whipsaw sort of environment.
It's absolutely. That's what I felt this morning. Let me take this off here. I'm not used to having it on.
If you just look left on the chart, if you go back over the course of this week, pretty much all of the volume is around 28.60.
So around this area here.
So I've got the VWAPs from Monday this week, and they have all landed around 28.60 every single day.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of volume here. I'm not surprised that we are whipsawing the way that we are.
Yeah, I put the volume profile on here it's from Tuesday, but if I put it on, if I add Monday to it, so volume profile going from Monday to present, there to there, we've got the volume profile showing the largest volume right around 28.60. So that is the agreed upon price for now.
Yeah, and the probing either side, there's no real commitment.
Yeah, and if you look at something like M2K right now, it's just inside this range, right? Just chopping up and down.
Yeah.
I mean, if it goes up to the highs and shows a rejection in this area, then the short is probably higher probability than the long, right? Because it has just been hanging out around here. Same thing with the lows. If we come down and retest the lows, we have been over the last 2 days making higher lows. But if it were to come back down here, a long aiming for the high of the session.
Yeah, I think with the VIX rising now and it's above 21, it tends to bring quite an ugly trading environment, because they have to rebalance their inventories to sort of make the market function when a lot more puts are being bought.
Yep. And when you said VIX, right, when you see these red prints over here, right, when you see this news, right, Iran, et cetera, that's when your VIX will spike. What am I not looking at here? Let's go over here. Oops, not what I wanted to do. There you go. So that was at 8:20 this morning with that tweet. VIX climbing. I'm surprised it didn't go any higher than that. Let's go to the daily. Oh yeah, holy mess. It's March 9th. It's the beginning of the the conflict spiked up over the last few days, been going up.
I think anything below sort of like 18 is fairly stable. If you're rising above 18, that's when you get more sort of downside volatility.
Yeah. Or upside in oil. So it is 10:30, I believe. We have, hang on a second. I just want to make sure here. Yes, Parsa said that he is coming on at 10:30. So I am going to walk away, and I'll be back tomorrow and for Friday. And yeah, so thanks for hanging out with me. And Parsa, I see him waiting there. So cheers. Have a good day, everyone. And I'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you, Gilles.
All right. Cheers.
Thank you, Gilles.